Hey tankers, and welcome back to World of Tanks with PR154, where we are following JamesSnipes of the Predator clan in the Tier 6 French light tank AMX 12T. Now, what James is up to at the moment, I know for a fact he's working through T55A Personal Campaign missions, but specifically he's going back to try to get the result improvement, so to satisfy both primary and honours conditions for some missions that are completed in the past. Now, if you can complete all of your missions with honours, you can start getting orders, and with those orders you can use them to actually skip some rather difficult personal campaign missions that you might be encountering through some of the higher order campaigns like T55A or indeed Object 260. So AMX 12T is a sensible vehicle to do it. In this case, he's up to LT-8, get out of our base. So the honest completion condition here is he needs to destroy an enemy vehicle, and being top tiered 6s over 5s has every chance to do that, particularly with the autoloader of AMX 12T. It has a lot of killing capacity, given that you can, was it 120 alpha on this, I believe? 135 alpha, so we do the maths on that, that's 540 hit points of clip potential there, so great killing capability here with the AMX 12T. The primary condition is a bit more straightforward. They just need to participate in the successful capture of the base, or they need to be able to successfully reset an enemy cap of their base. In doing so, they also need to win the battle, destroying all enemy vehicles, or by capturing or defending the base. I think this is a little bit of a furphy here, in that I believe you will actually need to complete the cap in order to satisfy the primary condition. I guess being down at Tier 5 and Tier 6, you don't see as well developed tactical approach to maps. In this case, I cannot understate the importance of being able to take this hill position, particularly as a light tank. From up here, you've got the best sight lines and therefore the best firing lines available to you. So quite often at higher tiers, you do see this particular position being taken quite seriously. Because have a look at this. You've got vision all the way out through these fields. There's unless the enemy is sort of jammed in behind these rocks or far on the one line, there's really not too many places that you can hide from enemies that occupy this hill. So it's just so important to be able to take it. Another thing that at low to mid tiers that players might not be 100% cognizant of is the fact that no matter how good your concealment rating is, if an enemy vehicle comes within 50 meters of you, you'll automatically get spotted. They will automatically get spotted as well. So it really helps to have this 50-meter map ring turned on, because what we can see is this Porlac tank, rather than rushing in and trying to take on the top of the hill in a 3v1, they've actually jammed in nice and hard against the bottom of the hill, and what that's doing is exposing JamesSnipes' teammates that are on top of the hill. Of course, in reserve, the enemy's got this M10 RBFM and Sturmgeschütz, not sure if that's a Sturmgeschütz 3G in the back as well. So those vehicles are going to be able to get effective fire onto JamesSnipes' teammates if they're A, unaware that they're spotted, or, and B, if that Porlac tank keeps lighting them up by entering that 50 meters proximity spotting range. And the fact that there's intervening hard cover makes absolutely no difference to your ability to get spotted. The T-34-85M making a move on top of the hill. Unfortunately for them, they are caught in the crossfire between JamesSnipes, the Ram-2 and the M10 RBFM firing from the back there. JamesSnipes reloading to get a full clip and repositioning to get a third or fourth firing angle on this T-34-85M. Because it's only got 36 hit points left, and artillery delivers the killing blow. The Porlac tank makes its move up onto the hill, noting the Ram 2 is in a fairly weak hit point position, but with a 540 hit point clip potential in the Pollack tank, JamesSnipes is certainly trying to do his bit to carve away at the Pollack tank, leaving it with just 149 hit points. Artillery not quite able to find its mark there. That could have seen that vehicle knocked out. So it's now the enemy team that controls the initiative on the hill, but with the M10 RBFM landing another hit on the Pollack tank, that just leaves it with 25 hit points. The team's slightly puzzled by what to do here next. You do have decent penetration with the AMX 12T's main armament, 144 millimeters with the standard stuff. He hasn't actually loaded any premium shells. This is probably a bit of a mistake. Like even if you are a free-to-play player, it's helpful to have at least some premium option available to you there, particularly for situations like this where you do need a higher order of confidence of penetration. It's not cheating, it's just using the game mechanic. So with a few more reinforcements, they're a little bit more confident of being able to develop a crossfire on the Pollack tank. A few swings and misses against the cupola weak spot of the Pollack tank. Dale 77 of the Kiwi clan pushing in with the WZ-131 GFT, unfortunately knocked out by the Pollack tank. And this is, I guess, this is why I say it's helpful to have at least a clip of premium shells available to you, because in that situation, JamesSnipes could have gone for a turret shot rather than trying to go for really for true acts of precision and trying to knock out a cupola in a moment where he really needed to get that kill quite quickly. But I mean, not to take away from the fact that he's had a fantastic game so far. Nearly 2,700 hit points of damage inflicted on the enemy. And it looks like the M10 RBFM ultimately had everything under control. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but I would assume that the Pollack tank had pushed out on them and they were basically loaded for bear and ready to go. JamesSnipes engaging the AMX ELC BIS, unfortunately a little bit too late to save the M44. Now, back to the mission for a moment here. We still need something to happen with the cap circle. While the AMX LC BIS had gone deep, unfortunately that was they hadn't done so with too much gusto on the cap circle. So there wasn't any opportunity there for JamesSnipes to satisfy this condition by resetting capture points. So the only option now is actually to capture the enemy base. By all accounts, however, it would appear the friendly Firefly VC and M10 RBFM are rounding on the last remaining enemy vehicle. So we've got a KV-1 that's looking in a rather sick hit point position, as well as an AMX 13F3 SPG. So not a vehicle really renowned for a massive hit point pool. JamesSnipes jumps on the cap, being one tank on the cap in a standard battle. That's a minute 30. Still sneaking in that last kill on the KV-1. He's calling on the Firefly now to join him in the cap rather than going for the kill. But it appears Firefly VC is bent on hunting down AMX 13F3. Maybe they've hit him a few times earlier in the game. Maybe the Firefly VC has got missions of its own it needs to complete. But in this case, JamesSnipes is really anxious to capture this base out so they can take the win. The AMX 13F3 takes a hit from Firefly VC, but Firefly VC also takes a hit from AMX 13F3. Both it and MT RBFM are in one-shottable positions. And I guess at this tier, SPGs still have a reasonable reload. You can see JamesSnipes pleading in the chat, please let me cap this out. Almost appears to be a little bit of argy-bargy going on over there between the Firefly VC and M10 RBFM, getting a little bit tied up there, but JamesSnipes is able to complete the honours condition here, having captured the base, won through cap out, and with honours having destroyed an enemy vehicle, 4 in this case. Let's take a look at the results. So not only have they knocked over an outstanding honours completion, but they've also picked up an Ace Mastery badge here for the AMX 12T, as well as their first Mark of Excellence. They've picked up an absolute fistful of these epic medals here. We've got Confederate for hitting more enemy vehicles than any other player on the team, and that's and these are vehicles that are then subsequently destroyed by another player. So given that they've also picked up 4 kills, that's really indicative of having a fantastic firing position available from that hill on Tundra. Really, the effect of that position on the battle just cannot be understated. He's also picked up the high caliber medal for accounting for at least 20% of the total hit point pool of enemy vehicles, and the invader medal for taking the most hit points, the most capture points on the enemy base, and needs to be at least 80%, accounting for at least 80% of the capture points on the enemy base, and sort of done that single-handedly. Desperate as he was to pick up the mission, could have been a quite easy exercise for them to sort of go in and take the win and knock out the self-propelled gun themselves. But focus on the mission was key in this particular game. He's also picked up a few of these badges of merit: Bruiser for damaging enemy vehicle modules or injuring crew members at least 5 times in the course of the battle. Fighter medal for taking at least 4 kills. This is sort of the predecessor to the Top Gun medal. But if you get 4 or 5 enemy kills, you'll end up picking up this medal, and of course 5 for effect, which goes hand in hand with the high caliber medal. Having a look at the team scores, he has come top on experience by quite a significant margin. In fact, nearly double the next vehicle. That was held by the Ram 2, who was also quite instrumental in getting up on top of the hill. Unfortunately, being proximity spotted by the Pavlak tank had left it in quite a quite exposed in the position it was trying to fight. It may not have been aware of the 50-meter proximity rule. It might not have been aware that it was spotted by the Pavlak tank. But live and learn, I guess. Having a look at the detailed report again, JamesSnipes is a free-to-play player. Even so, just loading a bit of premium ammunition could have made life a little bit easier for some of his teammates in that game. There was a payout for completing the personal campaign mission with honours of 40,000 credits, but all in all, still would have been quite a profitable game for JamesSnipes. He would have profited by sort of 16,000 credits for his efforts in that game. So very well done to JamesSnipes of the Predators clan in the Tier 6 French light tank AMX 12T. And if you've got a battle that you're really proud of and you'd like to share with the community, please reach out over Discord or any other links below, and I'll do our best to sort you out. Please do check out the About section of our YouTube channel for some of our submission guidelines. Of course, we are prepared to be flexible with those guidelines, whether it's personal campaign missions or just a really tight game involved. In the meantime, take care out there.